So Tusk says he's won, but the opposition would of course need to form a government to seal the deal.
Yes, it would, and I spoke a bit earlier to one of the members of the opposition coalition known as Third Way, and as she was explaining to me that the position of the opposition parties has been clear for a while, which is that they decided not to come up with a joint list to run on one single platform, if you will, for this election, but that they had all agreed in advance that if they could form a government out of this election, that they would work together. And indeed, if you look at the numbers, the most obvious combination is Civic Platform with Third Way and the Left Party. Those three together would have a pretty comfortable majority. So I think that's why Donald Tusk, who was in power, but he's been out of power for 10 years now, he was so happy and ecstatic, really, in his address and how he spoke to supporters and the tone that he used, because this, for him, is a massive shift. And for all those who wanted to get Law and Justice out of power, who wanted Poland to switch to a different direction, for them, certainly the people I've been speaking to tonight, they consider this to have been a really great day for them. Of course, it's still early days yet. These are still exit polls, but they believe that they are on the way to changing Poland's direction, both internally and externally, that they now have a chance, they think, to reverse what Law and Justice has done on, for example, the judiciary or control of the media, and the whole sort of opposition to the Brussels institutions, the EU institutions, all of that, according to the people I've been speaking to in the last few hours, all of that could change now. But of course, as I said, there's a lot that can still happen before any opposition coalition actually comes into a government.
But nevertheless, it's a big disappointment for the ruling party then, Law and Justice.
Well, the Prime Minister Jarosław Kaczynski, I thought he was quite perhaps not subdued exactly, because he's not usually a massively exuberant character, to be honest. But he was quite equivocal. He said, "Well, we'll have to see how the how the distribution of seats in Parliament actually goes from now." He said, "Wait and see. Things could happen. It could be interesting," he said. And then he continued, "We will win." So a different tone from Donald Tusk, his big rival, who sounded as though he thought he really had won already. So I think, reading between the lines, Kaczynski is admitting that he might not be able to form a government, even though his party came out as having the largest share of the vote, according to the exit poll. But the numbers just aren't there on the face of it. Even if he did an alliance with the far right, which is unpalatable to leaders both of the Conservatives and the far right, even that together wouldn't give the two parties the required threshold to have a majority in Parliament. So it doesn't look very good for the Conservatives right now. But having said all that, under the Polish custom, it's up to the president to give the leader of the party that came first in the elections the first crack at forming a coalition. So we expect that President Andrzej Duda will probably do that and is likely to give Jarosław Kaczynski the first crack at forming a coalition. But as I said, the numbers are not looking good not looking good for the Conservatives.